Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
What's up and happy Mental Push Up Monday, baby. We here. So check this out. The title of today's message is the No Complain Campaign. No Complain Campaign. So I'm sure you're asking, you're saying, what is the No Complain Campaign? So this came into my brain. I was inspired. Actually from a training last week. Oh, surprise. But anyways, so so I was thinking about in terms of one of my coworkers was like, you know, because we were talking about empathetic listening, right? Like when you listen to somebody, try to understand where they come from, right? But you know, we can feel however we want to feel, but at the end of the day, we have to do something about it, right? We say, okay, now the milk is spilled. What we gonna do about it, right? Like, how we gonna clean this up? And so I was like, I said, couldn't that be relative to what happens when we complain, right? Like that's what happens, you know, for us. And first of all, let me clarify. I'm not saying that, like, you shouldn't have emotions and feelings. You're like, oh, ray of sunshine. I'm not saying that. Because we're human, and we're going to have things that happen in our life that don't go the way that we feel they should. And so we're going to feel a way about it. I'm not saying that, right? But what I am saying when I'm talking about complaining, I'm talking about non-productive negativity, right? It doesn't benefit us. It doesn't help us. We're talking about what's wrong. ... Oh, woe is me. And I almost stand in a state of victim, right? Stand in a state of victim. And instead of us choosing, hey, let's be a victor, right? Let's choose a different option. What am I going to do about it? So, a couple of thoughts around complaining and ways to make a different or choose a different option, right? So the first thing was, when I was talking about complaining, I think we have to understand what complaining does to us, right? It keeps us stuck. It keeps us stuck. Like, I was reading this article about complaining, and one of the things they said, not only does it impact us mentally, it also impacts us physically. They said it literally trains your brain to just automatically look at the negative when you complain, right? And so, you know, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, you know, complaining feels good to me sometimes. It's like, you know, I just wanna talk about how bad it is today. Let me sit in my funk. You know, but it's not beneficial. It keeps us stuck because it almost makes us powerless in a sense. Because I'm just looking at what's wrong. Like, I'm just saying, okay, this is this, and woe is me, and not realizing that really we are all powerful, and we are the creators of what shows up in our life, and we can choose a different option. Like, I could choose to do something different here, right? And so it almost makes us remain passive in a sense, because we're just saying, oh, this is wrong, but I'm not doing anything about it, which leads to point number 2, take responsibility. We have to, in terms of, instead of us being passive, how about we take responsibility and own whatever it is that's going on for us? We can change it, right? We have to realize here that we can only control ourselves. And I find that when I'm thinking in that view, like just saying, hey, I can only control me, you know, people gonna be themselves. Like, I can't knock them. Just like I'm me, I'm sure I get on people's nerves too, you know, or whatever. I don't do things the way that someone else believes that I should do it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I can only control myself. You know, things aren't always gonna go the way that I feel that they should. And one of the quotes I heard the other day, and which is really starting to shift my thinking around, is like, we can't control what people do, but we can choose how we respond to it. Like, we literally have that choice. And so, by us taking responsibility for ourselves and saying, I'm in control of me, I can't control what X, Y, and Z do, or, you know, 2 + 2, what they do, but I can control myself. So, I think that's very empowering. Instead of us looking from a state of, like, this is what complaining does to me. It keeps me stuck. But what if I just looked at it as, okay, I got to take responsibility for myself, right? That's the only person I control. So how am I going to respond to this instead of how am I going to react and stay stuck? And then thirdly, I think a shift in perspective, right? Because when we're complaining, you know, just like we said, we're focusing on the negative, right? We're focusing on what's wrong. But what if we focused on what's right? I know, shout out to Miss Swansea. She always gives me this quote. She says, we get what we looking for. We get exactly what we're looking for. So I know, I think about, like, even sometimes, like, when I was a teacher, right? You know, if I thought for 1 second that my students couldn't do it, they wouldn't have done it. You know, if I had the mindset that my students cannot do it, they weren't gonna do it. But because, you know, as a team, we collectively believe that, you know what, yeah, we gonna figure this out, then we found a way. And so I think the same thing, if we shifted our thinking in terms of what are we focusing on. Because think about the negativity and how it impacts us, right? You know, physically. It doesn't do well for even our bodies. But what if we focused on what's right, you know? And that would totally lift our spirits. So what we focus on, it expands. So I challenge you for the next 7 days, focus on what's going right in your life, you know? And again, I am not saying that, oh, woe is the flower and there's nothing going on and I'm going to be magical about it. But what I am saying is that how about we focus on what's right? You know, take a second and look at what's going well in your life. You know, I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I have a job, you know, or I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I have a spouse or I have kids, you know, or I have dogs, whatever it is. You know, I have a reliable car. It's not a Beamer, but it can get me from point A to B. So just focus on what's right in our life. Being thankful, being grateful, you know, automatically lifts our vibrations. And then lastly, and I think this is key, this really wraps it all up in a nice little bow. You know, take action. You know, that's the thing. If we go back to point 1, when we complain, it keeps us stuck. And we say, oh, this is what's wrong. There's nothing I can do about it. Blah, 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 blah. Right? But take action. You can do something. You know, we are the center of our universe, right? Like, we create whatever we see around us. For the most part, we create it. We have a choice. We always get to choose. Always, every single time, all day, every day. You know? So things may not be the way that I want to, but I can choose a different response, right? Like, I can control myself, so I can do something different. Take action. Because action is how we start to repair things, right? Like, so I could say all day, oh, I want, you know, man, this car get on my nerves, da 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 da. What am I gonna do about it? What am I going to do about it? And that has to be the question. Okay, this is what's the deal. The milk has spilled on the floor. The lemonade is all the way over the floor. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to sit here and continue to cry over the milk? Or am I going to make a choice here and do something and let me go get that rag and start getting it, or get this mop and start sweeping it up and doing something about it, right? And so that's the thing. Just take action. And what am I going to do? I have this issue. I have this thing going on for me. What am I going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? So those are my thoughts around the No Complain campaign. And so, this is the other thing I forgot to add. Yes, so for the next 7 days, let's till we meet again next Monday. Let's try to go on the No Complain campaign, right? So this week we are going to focus on what is positive. We are going to take responsibility and own whatever is going on here and do something about it. You know, if I'm not doing something about what I feel is incorrect or what I feel is, you know, I'm not satisfied with, then we have to take responsibility. That's on us. So we get to choose something different. Get your mop, get your broom, start cleaning up the mess instead of complaining about it. So those are my words of wisdom. Please subscribe. Please share. Because guess what, baby? It's all love. But it's the Dorky Jock signing off, baby. And I'm out.
Find table space to say your social graces.